Amid Donald Trump's expansionist rhetoric, his chief confidant Elon Musk has taken yet another swipe at Canada's outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The Canadian leader has been at the receiving end for a while now from U.S. President-elect Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk, who will soon be at the helm of Department of Government Efficiency.
Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like. And it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada.
The relationship between Elon Musk and former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been far from traditional. Both are towering figures in their respective domains, yet their paths have increasingly crossed in the realm of public commentary, with Musk often making headlines for his provocative takes on political matters. Musk's ability to spark debates on social media, particularly on X, has allowed him to challenge established leaders like Trudeau and draw attention to ongoing political issues, especially those between the United States and Canada. As we move forward, I'd like to ask you a quick favor to subscribe and like this video. It takes just a second and helps us so much.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Justin Trudeau's resignation, along with increasing pressure from his own party and the controversial dynamics surrounding U.S.-Canada relations, created an opportunity for Musk's opinions to be heard. This conflict can be traced to U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's often antagonistic standpoint toward Canada. Trump had long criticized Canada's trade policies, particularly the perceived imbalance in defense spending and trade deficits.
I didn't think he was going to quit. He probably saw the numbers. Look, I called him Governor Trudeau because they should be the 51st state, really. It would make a great state. And the people of Canada like it. They'd pay lower taxes. They have virtually no military. They have a very small military. They pay less than 1%. They're about the lowest payer in NATO. They're supposed to pay much more. They haven't been paying. They have a lot of problems. And I was with Wayne Gretzky. I said, Wayne, would you like to be the governor of Canada? I can't imagine anybody doing any better than Wayne. Wayne was not too interested.
His suggestion that Canada might eventually merge with the United States as the 51st state caused a lot of backlash from Canadians. Elon Musk made blunt remarks about Trudeau's resignation, mocking it as a sign of the end of an era for Canada, while tweeting, "Girl, you're not governor of Canada anymore." But as we know, Justin Trudeau's resignation was a result of mounting internal pressures within his own Liberal Party, as well as the broader geopolitical challenges affecting Canada's position on the world stage. Elon's use of the term "girl" not only mocked Trudeau in a personal way, but also undermined his political authority, turning the resignation from a political event into an opportunity for ridicule. Musk's reaction to Trudeau's resignation didn't stop with that single remark. He also made comments about 2025, sharing his thoughts on what the year ahead might bring and touching on various global developments. He celebrated what he saw as positive shifts, including Trump's re-election and the rise of a new wave of masculinity. Elon's followers found in his words a reflection of their own frustrations with the political establishment, while critics saw in his comments a further erosion of civility and respect for the political process. On many occasions, Trump has repeatedly made the case that Canada, in his view, is not pulling its weight in terms of trade and defense spending, and that the U.S. is shouldering the cost of protecting Canada without reaping the benefits. Musk echoes this sentiment, although with a sharper tone and a focus on the inefficiency of the current arrangement. On a closer inspection of Elon Musk's social media posts, it is clear that his posts often align with Trump's ideas, particularly on issues like trade, defense, and the U.S.-Canada relationship. Trump's repeated calls for a merger between the U.S. and Canada, and his suggestions that Canada should become the 51st state come from his belief that Canada's economic and military contributions to the US are insufficient. He believes that the US is burdened by the cost of protecting Canada through military alliances, while simultaneously suffering from trade imbalances that benefit Canada more than the US. Musk shares a similar view, particularly in the context of trade and defense. He questions why the US continues to subsidize Canada's defense and trade practices, especially when Canada's resources like lumber and dairy are not essential to the US. So this begs the question: why continue with the current structure if it's not benefiting the US? Meanwhile, Justin Trudeau rejected Donald Trump's proposal to merge the US and Canada by making it clear that such a merger was never an option. He publicly declared that there was no snowball's chance in hell that Canada would ever become part of the United States. In response to these international pressures and the growing mockery from figures like Trump and Musk, Trudeau's Liberal Party launched a counterattack.
US President-elect Donald Trump made headlines once again with his controversial comments about Canada. Taking to social media platform Truth, Trump posted a distorted map of the United States showing Canada as part of the country. Liberal Party of Canada wasted no time responding to Trump's post. They quickly took to social media platform X, posting an image that clearly distinguished between the areas that are part of the United States and those that are not the United States.
One of the most publicized moments was when the Liberal Party shared a corrected world map on social media, mocking Trump's idea of a US-Canada merger. The map humorously depicted a world in which Canada remained independent, reinforcing the message that the country would not bend to external pressures. Musk's public ridicule of Canada and its leaders, particularly Trudeau, has significant implications for Canada's international standing. His social media comments contribute to the portrayal of Canada as a political lightweight, mocked by powerful American figures and unable to defend its sovereignty. The international community, already witnessing strained US-Canada relations under Trump's leadership, may view Musk's remarks as another sign of growing American disdain for the country's autonomy. Canada's role as a diplomatic middle power could be jeopardized if such commentary continues, and the country's reputation as a peaceful, progressive nation may suffer as the public narrative shifts toward one of weakness and vulnerability in the face of external pressure. Navigating these pressures will not be easy for Canada. As the US seeks to redefine its relationships with its neighbors, particularly with figures like Trump and Musk wielding considerable influence, Canada must carefully balance its economic and political interests with the need to preserve its independence. In the face of growing US demands, like tariffs, trade imbalances, and military expenses, Canada's political leadership is in a delicate position. While Canada has long enjoyed a close relationship with the US, it must also be mindful of developing stronger ties with other countries and international organizations. This strategic positioning can help mitigate the risks of becoming overly dependent on the US, but it also requires an approach that balances assertiveness with diplomacy. Canada may also find itself having to adjust its own trade policies to accommodate a shift in priorities. This could impact areas like environmental regulation, where Musk's ventures in clean energy and electric vehicles could push Canada toward greater cooperation with the US on climate change initiatives. However, this partnership could come with a catch. In exchange for access to Musk's innovation and technological leadership, Canada might have to yield on issues like regulatory standards or labor rights. In the worst-case scenario, Musk's growing influence could lead to a situation where Canada is expected to prioritize the interests of US corporate power over its own political and social agendas. In the realm of defense, Musk's influence could also lead to pressure for Canada to align more closely with US military strategies. The future of US-Canada relations, particularly under the shadow of figures like Trump and Musk, will depend heavily on how Canada responds to the pressures it faces. Ultimately, Musk's comments are a reminder of the growing prominence of billionaire influencers in global politics. Their ability to mold public perceptions and disrupt political narratives has transformed the way political discourse unfolds. The future of political leadership will likely be shaped by this evolving dynamic, and politicians who fail to acknowledge the growing power of figures like Musk may find themselves struggling to maintain relevance in a media landscape increasingly dominated by the private sector. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.